Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am really excited to be with you this morning for a conversation that it's really on point given the time that we're giving in and we're living in, and we have a phenomenal human being for this conversation. So today's conversation is going to be around how to lead your life, how to lead your family, how to lead your work, your job, your community when certainty disappears. And certainly right now, certainty is disappearing. So we have a phenomenal human being to guide this conversation, and it's David Cunningham. And for me, it is a real honor, David, to have you with us at the Leadership Huddle, given who you are, the thought global leader in transformation for over 30 years around the world. And you are a former Landmark Forum leader. You have touched over 500,000 lives in the workshops, and now you have a phenomenal book that I've had the chance to read and translate and transform my life. Love does matter. So, David, thank you for being here in the context of this conversation.
How wonderful, Jill. Great to be with you and to everybody listening.
This is so great. David, so I'll start with questions and then you just dance with me, if you will. David, one of the things that we do at the Leadership Huddle every Monday is to create a context, if you will, for the rest of the week and to empower ourselves in that big world that leadership is, how to lead ourselves and how to lead others. And given the times that we're in, the uncertainty that we find ourselves and the anxiety that most people are facing and all the complexities that the world is currently going through, if you will, what, when you have a group of people that you're going to lead them or lead a conversation, what are the foundations, if you will, where you anchor yourself to give people their power back?
Where I anchor myself, Jo, and I provide it for everyone to anchor themselves, is in a very fundamental understanding about where all of our power is as human beings. So, a useful way to look at that is to look at three possible domains of our life as human beings. One domain of our life is what we have, like I have shoes, I have a car, I have a home. One domain of our life is what we do, like I walk my dog, I go to work, I go to the gym. Those are the domains of life that people pay most of the attention to, what they have and what they do. But there's actually, Geo, a third domain of life that doesn't get much attention. It's called who we are being as human beings. So there's ways of being like generous, stingy, respectful, disrespectful, kind, cruel. Those are ways of being. And if you examine those three domains, Geo, what's really fascinating and powerful to discover is we don't have any control over what we have. We could have a car 1 minute and it's gone the next. We don't have any control over what we do. We could arrive at the airport on time and have our flight canceled. The one thing you and I have total say about, no matter what we have and what we're doing, is who we be as human beings. That's where all our power is. And that's where all our satisfaction and happiness comes from at the same time. So if my flight's canceled, I can be argumentative. If my flight's canceled, I can be respectful. Either one, that's up to me. My joy, my effectiveness comes from who I'm being, which is the one thing I have total say about. So to give ourselves certainty in a time of no certainty, to give ourselves power in a time of uncertainty, is to claim really maybe our one birthright, which is we have a say at all times, under all circumstances, about who we be as human beings. And so it's useful to choose that. Like, I choose being respectful. I choose being loving. I choose being creative. I choose being self expressed. Every human being gets to choose those for themselves. It's useful to go ahead and choose those for life, actually, for really for our whole life. What ways of being do we choose?
Mm, got it. Thank you, David. So you're saying we have three domains that were in our in our lives we're constantly dancing with these three domains. And or another way of saying it for simplicity's sake, three areas that we're constantly
Hmm.
dancing with. One is the area of what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I'm washing my car, or I'm going to work, or I'm sending emails, and this is
Right
what.
now, we're talking. That's what we're doing.
And right now we're talking. And then there is the other domain or the other area that I'm constantly in dance with, which is what I have. I
Hmm.
have my computer, and I have my house, I have my work, and I have my body. But then
Hmm.
there's this other domain, there's this other area that you're pointing to that it's very difficult to point to it even, but it is but we're always in a dance with, which is who am I being
Hmm.
in at any circumstance, at any moment where when I'm at work, or when I am at home, or who am I being with my children. There's this domain called being, and that it's a big domain to look at. It's a big area to look at. Who am I being right now, even though I could be experiencing uncertainty in my life? And
Yes.
you're saying that who am I being is a matter of choice, that one can be with the circumstances in life, whatever I'm dealing with, my divorce, or my house, or my bills not being paid, whatever is going on, or my own fears, there is a way I can be about it. And that is a choice. And discovering the choice of who am I being gives my power back, is what I'm hearing you are saying.
Yes, Joe. If you look at really world leaders, the ones we've respected the most, the Nelson Mandelas, the Mahatma Gandhis, the Dr. Kings in the United States, is you know where did they get their power? What did Nelson Mandela have? He had a prison cell. What did he do? He pounded rocks for 26 years. Where did his power come from? Where did his fulfillment come from? Where did his peace of mind come from? Was that choice about who he was being? And he chose to be loving. So did Dr. King. So did Mahatma Gandhi. They chose to be loving no matter what they were facing. That's where their power came from. That's where their satisfaction came from.
It's very difficult for me, David, and you've been doing this for 30 years, so I'm sure you have some secret weapons for people like
Mhm.
me. It's very difficult for someone who's not practicing uh, noticing being, or someone who's not practicing realizing that I am being a way of being, to not be reacting to my own fears. It's very difficult to not react. My children say this, so then for I react. My significant other says this, then I react. And my job says, well, now we don't no longer can make money in this direction, so then I react. The news say, well, gas prices are going up, so now you really got to find a way to drive less, or whatever that is, and prices are going up. Then I'm reacting. So it's very difficult to see oneself a choice. How do you navigate the conversation so that I can be responsible for that choice?
Well, when you discover and really understand, Gio, when a human being really gets, oh, my happiness isn't given by anything I have. I could
Okay.
have a car, I could get a new car and be very happy, yes? But a
Yes.
minute later, I could be completely miserable in that same new car. I could have a new job and be happy. And a few days later, be miserable in that same new job. I could have a new boyfriend or girlfriend and be happy. And we all know that down the road, we could have that same boyfriend and girlfriend and not be happy at all. So when you discover that, wait a minute, what I have does nothing about the happiness of my life, it has nothing to do with my happiness. Oh, and what I do has nothing to do with my happiness. I could be skiing in the Swiss Alps, But if while I'm skiing in the Swiss Alps, I'm cranky, I won't enjoy it. I could be cleaning the basement. And if while I'm cleaning the basement, I'm playful, I'll enjoy it. So when we really get our happiness doesn't come from what we have, and it doesn't come from what we do. And then we get our emotions are things we have. Like I have fear, I have anger, I have irritation, I have sadness. But even with sadness, Gio, isn't it? Is if we really look, right? We've all seen that when we're sad, it doesn't give us the quality of our life. Because sometimes we pay money to be sad. Have you noticed? We hear there's a really sad movie and we go, I'm going. And we're disappointed if it's not sad enough. So our emotions don't give our happiness, it's our way of being. You also discover one more point, if I could, is that the way another person treats us is something we have. Like, so if you're loving me, that means that doesn't mean I'm being loving or I'm doing anything like it. It means I have a loving person in my life. If you're mean to me, that doesn't mean I'm being mean or I'm doing anything mean. It means I have a mean person. So even when we get that the way another person treats us does not give us the quality of our life, it's something we have. So you have to keep freeing yourself up from the false belief we were educated in that our happiness comes from what we have and what we do. We have to uneducate ourselves from that belief and find out for ourselves, wow, I'm only happy when I love who I'm being. That's the only time I'm happy. If minute by minute of life, if I love who I'm being, I love my life. If I don't love who I'm being, I don't love my life. Minute by minute. That's good news because that's the one thing I have total say about. So we have to find that. And when you find that for yourself, the practice becomes natural, Gio.
Wait, this is big. This is huge. This is huge. And those of you, thank you for being here and allow yourself to write down your questions so we can give you some time to ask some questions a little bit later. David, this is a very big deal what you're pointing to, and I want to
It's revolutionary for our relationship to life, Gio. It is really revolutionary. It's radical new thinking.
relationship to life,
Mhm.
radical new thinking. And let me say it again, David, because it was a big, it was huge. So I'm gonna say it wrong, and then you help me say it right. Um, One thing I certainly have heard is that my happiness is not a function from what I have. And certainly that one is not so strange, right? If I get a new car, my happiness only lasts about 10 days and then it's like my car, right? Or if I get a new house, then it's like my happiness lasts another 15 days and then it's like, ah, my house, now it's all of this, right? And a relationship, I have a new girlfriend or I have a new significant other, it's like, oh, and then it lasts what it lasts. So, right. Or even go on vacation, right? It lasts about just kind of landing there at the hotel or wherever you are, and then we're not happy anymore. So, or there's a dance between happiness and expectations and all of that. So it's clear what I have doesn't give me my happiness. And I've got to discover that for myself, right? Yeah, I've got that. But then you said something that I've never quite heard like that before, very revolutionary, like you say, which is that my emotions is something I have.
Mhm.
And I haven't quite processed that myself that way. Like ha the emotion of sadness is something I have.
Mhm.
The emotion of excitement is something I have. The
Mhm.
emotion of disappointment is something I have. So it's sort of pointing to, for me, David, that I could be disappointed and still choose happiness as a
Isn't that
possibility.
great?
Yes, but it's
See,
kind of revolutionary. It's like, what do you mean? My emotions is who I am, but it's not.
well, most people have experienced this in some ways. Imagine that we have the experience of being irritated with somebody.
Right.
Okay. So we have irritation. That's what we have. Now, in that next moment, we still have a choice. Do I be nasty? Do I be argumentative? Or do I be understanding? Do I be patient? It's
Mhm.
still our choice, no matter what emotion we're having. And if we examine if we watch very carefully our happiness, it doesn't follow the emotion. It follows our way of being. That's what it's connected to. So if while I'm irritated, I'm argumentative, I'm not going to enjoy life at all. If while I'm irritated, I'm compassionate or understanding, I'll be fine in life. I really
Mhm.
will. So
Mhm.
our happiness doesn't follow our emotions, even though we thought it did. It follows our way of being.
So, if I could connect the dots, and I know it's a lot more complex, and your retreats are 3 days and a half, right? But if I could connect the dots, is there is a way to dance with myself where at the heart, at the core of who I am, is there is a fundamental choice that I can always be responsible for, which is how am I being moment to moment, or another way of saying that is how am I showing up under the circumstances I find myself. And the way I show up, there is one can say that that one can be responsible for the way I show up under any circumstances I am finding myself.
Hmm.
Now, what I found, David, is that intellectually it's easier than to do it or to be it. What do you think, or what have you found over the years that gets people in the way from practicing that in their lives with their children and at work or in their business?
Well, what gets in the way is still that the whole world is still in agreement that our happiness comes from what we have and what we do. That's all people talk to us about. When's the last time you walked into a party, Geo, and somebody says, "Hi, who you being?" They never ever ask that, do they? When you walk into a party, they ask you about what you have. Hey, where did you get that car? Where'd you get that sweater? Hey, is that a new boyfriend? They ask you what you have. Did you get that job? Or they ask you, what are you doing? Hey, you going on that vacation? Hey, you going to buy that thing? Or they ask you what you're doing because that's what they're interested in because that's what they think gives happiness. So you
Mm,
live in a world where everybody still is in a false belief that our happiness comes from what we have and what we do, which we have no control over. Gio, do you have any control over your emotions or do they just happen? Could you be in a grocery store, happy, 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 and then get irritated at a moment's notice without any warning?
likely, yeah.
Likely. Could you be at going through your Saturday, suppose you're on the weekend and you're going through, or let's suppose you're at a beach, right? You're at a beach. So what you're doing is you're laying on the beach and the sun is shining, and then find yourself irritated by something in a second, and you don't, it's like, where'd that come from? You don't even know. So we don't have any control over our emotions. So, oh. But I do when you find out and you practice, oh, let me take control of my life here. Let me get some power here in the face of uncertainty. Oh, let me choose my way of being. And I find, Gio, it's useful to choose it before the day begins. So every morning I have a practice. I think about my day, I think about where I'm going to go, I think about who I'm going to be with. And I actually decide at the beginning of the day, here's my way of being. I'm going to be loving in those situations, or I'm going to be respectful in those situations. And I plan it before I go. That's a very useful practice. And then when I'm done, I give myself a report card. How'd I do? But planning it before we go is very useful. If you just get if you just wait for the moment to momentness of it, you'll get caught in it. So plan it before we go is a very useful practice.
Yeah, like framing my brain to say, I tell my brain, okay, so here's what's going to happen today. I have this meeting and I have this meeting and I have this meeting, or it seems they're gonna let me go at work, or it seems like I'm gonna have to let somebody go, or it seems like this client is upset with this. And, we kind of have a day of what's about to show up, but rather than be reactive about it, I go ahead and I tell my brain, okay, so no matter what happens today, I'm going to be loving. And let's see what happens. And in your experience, what I'm hearing you're saying is that that practice leaves me anchored or leaves me at source, if you will, of the opportunity that life is.
And the more you visualize it, we have a capacity as human beings to visualize the future. So
Mhm,
actually get an image in my brain of, oh, walking into that meeting. One
mhm,
thing I'm going to do when we're done is I'm going to go buy groceries and take them to my 99-year-old mother. Okay. So I can picture myself at the grocery store. I can picture myself checking out in the checkout line. I can picture myself walking into my mom's apartment and I can visualize myself being loving in that whole situation. I can picture it. Like, what will my experience be? What will other people's experience be with me? What
mhm.
might happen given I'm being loving in that situation? So I can picture the whole thing, visualize the whole thing. That's the more we visualize it in advance, the more powerful it is.
We certainly need some coaching on that, David. David, I love Mercy's question, and if anyone has a question, go ahead and raise your electronic hand too, so we can pull you in this conversation. Mercy says on text, she says, "Why is my way of being more compassionate with others than with the people closest to me?"
Because you have a bigger expectation of the people closest to you. So
Mm,
we expect more from them. But that's where, again, we really have to get this one thing, which is the quality of our life never comes from the other person. Again, if you're loving me and I'm cranky, what do I experience? I don't experience love, I experience crankiness. And if you're cranky with me and I'm compassionate with you, I don't experience crankiness, I experience compassion. So it's really, this is radical too for society to get, oh, the other person, the way they are with me, that's not what gives me my life. It's who I be with them. When I perform weddings, that's one of the things I do is sometimes I officiate weddings and I get this flat in the vows, Geo in Mercy, right? I like get this really established with the as I lead a wedding that okay, you're about to marry this person. Let's get clear. Your happiness does not come from the way they treat you. Your happiness comes from the way you be with them, no matter how they're behaving. So to Mercy's question is we have the biggest expectations that we're supposed to get something from the people close to us. And when we don't get that, we think that there's something wrong, so we get annoyed with them. That's why. It's because we're that way with the people closest to us.
You said something radical. The quality of my life is not a function of the way people are with me or the closest
Hmm.
are with me.
Hmm.
And I get to choose who I'm going to be with them.
Hmm.
And certainly that opens up a huge kind of warmth for anyone who's listening. Like, yeah, but you don't live in my house. Yeah, but you're not married to this person, or you're not married
Yeah.
to with a lot of yeah buts. And what, how do I
Now
really,
let's not be silly, okay? If
yeah,
you're in a dangerous situation, get out, right? Let's not be silly
right,
about it.
right.
If you're in a situation, get out. But let's suppose you're being really disrespectful of me.
Hmm.
Okay. The current understanding of society is that's what gives me the quality of my life. But it doesn't. Because if while you're disrespecting me, I'm compassionate, forgiving, respectful, I will be at peace. Let's flip it around. Let's suppose you're really being very respectful of me. And while you're being respectful of me, I'm being judgmental of you. I'm
Hmm.
not going to enjoy our relationship. even though
hmm
you're being respectful.
hmm
I only enjoy a relationship and I only have power in a relationship when I'm clear I love who I'm being. And if I
hmm
love who I'm being, I will love my life in that minute and I will love what's happening.
I am clear. I love who I'm being.
Hmm.
Whether you're respectful or not, it's
Hmm.
about being mindful enough to see, well, how am I being in this relationship? I really get that. I
And the
want
way other people treat us is uncertain. So that's what we started out this conversation with about uncertainty. We have no certainty about how other people treat us. We have no
no,
say about that.
and we have big expectations of how they're going to show up. Does
Exactly.
anyone else? I want to make sure that I give also another person to have a question or a comment or a yeah, but David loves yeah, buts. I want to make sure I hear, I mean, at least one more person. Anyone has another comment? Yeah, but what do you want to say?
Hey, Gio and David,
Hey, Sorel.
I'd love to chime in and just double down on the revolutionary aspect of I have anger, I have joy, but I'm not joyous and I'm not angry.
Hmm.
Now, that's radical because
Hmm.
the question I was going to ask is, well, what if the way I'm being just kind of descends upon me? And I'm realizing that no, a way of being never descends upon me. Something like an emotion might get triggered.
Mm.
Something like a feeling might get triggered. But a way of being is always something I choose. And I wanted to say that and be so grateful and so thankful to you. Uh, that's all.
Great. And a great analogy for it is the sky and the clouds. The clouds come and go, don't they? Emotions come and go. Experiences come and go like clouds in the sky, but the sky is constant. So for us as human beings to relate to ourselves as the sky and all that other stuff comes and goes, how people interact with us, our own emotions, our own experience, they come and go like clouds in the sky. We don't want to, we pay too, I think we pay too much attention to them. Let them go. Just, the clouds come, they go. Let them go. Don't hold on to them. Don't fight them. You don't fight clouds. You just let them go. So as human beings, to reduce the amount of importance we give those things and have place our importance on our presence, our constancy as human beings about who we be. We're like the sky, and those are the clouds.
I love that. I love that possibility that I am this guy and then
Hmm.
my emotions are the clouds. Just
Hmm.
let them be. They will pass through.
Hmm. They will, don't they? You've never been sad forever. You've never been happy forever.
Let
And you
them
can't
be.
you can't even predict when it's going to change either, can you?
Not really.
No,
Not really.
no.
So there are two
Now,
things I want
wait,
to
wait,
share.
wait, wait, wait. That triggers
Go
another
ahead.
question.
Go ahead, Sarah.
So I am the sky and the clouds are passing. Now, can I generate a way of being? And is there a connection between the way I generate to be and the emotions I experience?
Yes. Ultimately, once you choose a way of being, if you love the way of being, you will love your experience of life. It's what literally gives you some say in the matter. So I'll say it one more time. Only when you love the way you're being do you love your experience of life and love the living of your life. That's why it's so critical. So it does shape your experience, your emotional experience as well.
Phenomenal. Thank you, David.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say it again. Um, for all of us to hear it one more time. If you love your way of being,
Hmm.
you love your experience of life. And
Hmm.
so it leaves me checking in constantly,
Hmm.
every day.
Hmm.
Life is happening and things have a lot of uncertainty right now. But
Hmm.
there is one thing where there's some certainty, and it's to ask myself this question. am I loving my way of being? Is
Mhm.
this way of being something I
Mhm.
can appreciate of myself?
Mhm.
And if I love my way of being, regardless of the circumstances, then my experience of life is of joy. That's really the
Brilliant.
phenomenon. David,
And by the way, this is also about effectiveness, right? If we want to be effective as leaders, we've it depends on how much people listen. We don't have any power with others if they don't listen to us, do we? We only can be effective, really be leaders if we're listened to. And people will only listen to us if we're being respectful, being loving. They won't listen to us if we're being judgmental. They won't listen to us if we're being argumentative. They just won't. So this is also not only a matter of our happiness, it's a matter of our being effective leaders as well with others.
it's a matter of being effective with others. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, David. And time just passes by. So I know the world wants a little bit more of you. And so we have your book, right? Your Love Does Matter, right? And there's also an opportunity to join you different times of the year in different parts of the world. And do you mind typing it in for us and telling us a little bit about your retreat, just a little bit about it so that we can some of the people today can join me in Canada?
Yes, great. So, yes, I invented a 3-day program called The Awakening. And I was committed that there was a place that hadn't been explored yet. I spent many of my years leading transformational programs and many years in very significant and serious spiritual study. And I was committed that there was a place where those two worlds cross paths, spirituality and transformation, that had not been explored fully. So I went there and looked at what happens when you bring those two worlds together. And I'm thrilled with it. It's a what happens for people when we can bring those two worlds together. So I call it the awakening. It takes place on a Thursday evening, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday morning. I'm doing it 10 times around the world this year. 4 times in Philadelphia, once in Minneapolis, once in Santa Rosa, California, in translated into Spanish, once in Calgary, Canada, where you're going, once in Cabo, Mexico, and once on a cruise ship. We're all very excited. So to find out information, you just go to yourlovedoesmatter.com. Yourlovedoesmatter.com, and there'll be a tab there for the Awakening program. Find out about it. And, I would love people to join me there. It's really the subtitle for the course is The Anointment of Self as Source. The anointment of self as source. Truly blessing yourself and knowing yourself as the source of your life.
I love that. I love that. So I put in the chat the link for yourlovedasmatter.com/awakening so that you guys can choose the dates that you may want to go. I highly encourage you to go to Canada with me so that we can have a great time together. I hope you guys joined us and you discovered this conversation a little bit deeper. I also have a chance to read and translate David's book, and it was just a wonderful experience. David, is there anything else you want to say before we move on?
One last thing is I like to get across the whole possibility that we have a love footprint. Just like we have a carbon footprint, we have a love footprint. In other words, every time we leave an interaction, we leave something behind. So whether it's a 60-second interaction with the clerk in a store, lunch with our family, working all day with a colleague, when we leave, what do we leave behind? And we can look, do we leave behind argument, judgment, resentment, indifference, or do we in fact leave love behind? That's a choice. Again, that's another choice we make. So I'm committed that people can start expanding their love footprint on the planet. Leave every time we leave an interaction, leave love behind.
I love that. Thank you, David. Thank you for being a force of love in the world. Certainly, we um we need that and
Mm,
have it be make sense and have it be our access to effectiveness in life rather than something else.
great.
David, thank you so much for
Oh,
being here.
beautiful. Wonderful.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next week, Monday, for more conversations on leadership. Have a phenomenal day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Gio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Efraín, no, you have your hand up? ¿Quieres decir algo? Do you want to say something or you're gone? He's gone. I think he's gone.
No, estoy bien, nada más que